What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. It's been a minute, but I want to come through and just give you my thoughts and opinions on this Fox Soul panel discussion that posed the question, should black women stop dating black men? And I just want to give you my thoughts and opinions on this situation, on this question, this topic, all that good stuff. So here we go. I tell you, I swear, every time I turn around, I hear a sister. Yeah, a sister talking about swirling, aka dating and marrying cave dogs. In fact, I don't even know if I should call y'all sisters, because no real sister would even think to do something as disgusting and degenerate as dating, marrying, procreating with cave dogs, cave beasts. So you gonna abandon the black man, the black family, the black race, and for what? To engage in bestiality? Really, sister? Is it that bad, my sister? You gonna trade a black cane for a cave dog? A cave beast? Sister, are you mentally ill? And all of them are cave dogs. White, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern. If the relationship with a sister, a black woman, if that relationship does not involve a black man, aka the Kangs of finance and civilization, then you are engaging in a relationship with a cave dog. One may speak Korean, one may speak Arabic, Spanish, whatever else languages them people speak, and I'm using people loosely, don't matter. Oh, and then y'all want to go off and have offspring and spawn with them. I don't even really want to call them children. Just go off and have a spawn with a cave beast and pollute and dilute the bloodline, thinking y'all winning. Like, really, sister, you gonna give a cave dog, a cave beast access to your beautiful black body and womb? Nah, sister, you lost. You lost the game and you lost in life, sister. Y'all want to put the mark of the beast on innocent children. Oh, that's a wicked black woman right there. That's a wicked one right there. And then I know the rebuttal, y'all gonna come through and be all like, but black man do it too. Black men put the mark of the Kangs on their children, not the mark of the beast. And then y'all gonna come through with, but black men be with Becky and them. Black men being with Becky undermines the system of white supremacy, my sister. Black women, on the other hand, being with cave beast or white men, really don't even want to call them white men, more like white males, colludes with and maintains the system. In fact, when you really think about it, being with Becky is really the most pro-black thing you can do, while being with not so rad Brad is the exact opposite. Then I'm gonna know the next argument. Oh, if non-black men are animals, then non-black women are animals too, right? Nope, wrong. Non-black women don't comport themselves like non-black men do. They behave like civilized, feminine, nurturing women. And they don't wear weave. You can learn a thing or two from them, sister. But at this point, all I want to know is just where are the real black queens at? Where the real black queens at? Who ain't with that bestiality swirl-ish? You know, really, all I want for Christmas is a real black queen. Cause no more left out here. That's why black men be dating out. The supply of worthy black queens is at an all-time low. And scene. All right. Good job, everyone. Good job. I know I had y'all going there, didn't I? I know. My acting skills are pretty top notch. They've been compared rather to, some pretty high quality top name actors in the industry. I'm just saying. But with all that being said and that little joke aside, let's really get into this video though. All right. So, why is the burden always, and if it's not always, it's almost always, placed on black women? Notice that. Why isn't a question like this being directed toward black men? Like, should black men stop dating black women? Or should black men only date black women? Or even like, oh, should black men stop swirling and dating interracially so much for the sake of the black woman, the black family, the black race, yada, yada, yada. But folks really don't want to have those type of discussions, right? So, of course, the burden's going to be placed on black women because it's much easier to place the burden on black women than black men. And of course, black women, not all but enough, will willingly accept the burden. And you already know what the argument's going to be when it comes to black men if these questions were posed to black men. It would be like, love is love. You can't help who you love. You can be pro-black and date Becky and them. Black women got to stop being so jealous and angry. Black women got to start competing for brothers. Y'all can't be asking black men to lower their standards now. A black man can have standards and preferences. But, folks want to get at black women to lower their standards, though. Both black men and black women getting at black women to lower their standards. It's going to be some, Kevin Samuels wannabe out there talking about black women got too high standards. That's why they ain't got a man. That's why they ain't got nobody to come home to. And then there's going to be some mammified mule coming through talking about, see, I took that black king advice and I got a wedding ring. And she going to be on the YouTube thumbnail cheesing it up like a Cheshire cat. Or either she's going to have this like really low-key condescending smirk on her face with her wedding ring in view. See, I got my king. See, I followed their advice. That's why I'm winning. Shoot, I got my black king. I pay all the bills. I help him pay child support for his 4 other kids that he got with 4 other women, the baby mamas. But hey, I got the ring though. I got the wedding ring. Black women, y'all better get like me. Y'all better listen to what our kings want out here in these streets. But, when it comes to black men, of course, like I said, it'll just be like, love is love. You can't help who you love. You can be pro-black and date Becky and Maria and Selena and Kim Woo and still come through for the black community. And of course, more than enough black women will support those sentiments, even though those black women themselves are black men only a lot of times and want black men all to themselves. At least the black men who have swag, right? But on the flip side, I don't completely blame those women because, black men will get angry, and black men will turn into the chocolate-covered Incredible Hulk when they're angry at black women or the incredible chocolate-covered She-Hulk, the way that some of these dudes be acting. And, they'll smash you, but not in the way that you want them to. Quick sidebar, though. Did any of you guys catch the She-Hulk and Megan Thee Stallion twerk out? If so, how did you like it? What did you think about it? Were you like, get it, She-Hulk, get it, Megan? Or were you like, nah, what was this all about? Let me know. But back to this Fox Soul panel, right? But black men, black men will get physical and in extreme situations may end up unaliving black women in the process. And that's part of the reason that law enforcement takes the approach that it does with black men. They know how black men act toward black women and the black community, really. And again, they know who they're dealing with. Plus, the whole subculture, hip hop, of hip hop, gangster rap, and thuggery being glorified and pushed as like the primary image of black men. It just sucks that innocent black men have to get caught in the crossfire of that. But that's another video for another day. But to cut to the chase and to make a long story short, black men are not, I repeat, black men are not going to limit their dating options for the sake of black women, for the sake of the black family, for the sake of black love, for the sake of black women's feelings, right? For the sake of trauma bonding. At least not as a collective. Maybe on an individual level you might find one here, one there, but not as a collective. Even the ones who be all like, a black queen only for me, chocolate sister, that's what I want. Even them don't be as quick to say that, oh, no non-black women altogether. And then, even still, if they are dating within the race, unfortunately, black women have to worry about the colorism issue that is very prevalent in the black community. But you got to remember though, black men have battled and fought the good fight too long and lusted too strong to go back to being with just black women, to being with black women only. Black men have been liberated. And that liberation is symbolized in having access to non-black women and not having to be solely with black women. Especially when these dudes get some money, when they really can start being choosy, at least with looks. The thing is with that though, it's like when black men get money, then they can have access to regular 9-to-5 non-black women who look good and who aren't morbidly obese and Shamu's cousin. But notice that a lot of times when those black men do get money and fame, they aren't able to date on their level still when it comes to non-black women. But when it comes to black women, black men can date higher quality black women who may have the looks and also the fame and money too. While they may be able to date the non-black women who may have the look, but they don't have the fame or the money. They just have a nice look to them since they have money. And the non-black woman looking like, hey, this dude got some money. And, the way I'm looking, I'm working this 9-to-5 job. So if I get with this black king over here who got, some change, I might be able to come up. I might be able to get something, right? So it's a come up for the non-black woman. But let me talk about this panel right quick. I will say that the panel seemed to be very unbalanced. For one, I really think that there should have been more black male representation, at least 2 black men. A black man who answers yes to the question, should black women date out, and a black man who answers no to the question, should black women date out, are either, something, at least another black man on the panel. But then again, maybe people have kind of felt like, well, maybe there shouldn't be black men at all on the panel, since, this is more so a question that really black women have the autonomy to answer themselves. Because, when you think about it, it's like, well, what are black men here for in this situation, in this question? And I kind of get where they were coming from with it. But, now that I'm thinking about it, well, maybe it should have just been all black women, phenotypically black women for the most part, maybe like a light skin or exotical, biracial, maybe like a token, like one, if that. But it is good on the flip side to see, what black men think about it. But I also noticed that the moderator wasn't Tammy Mack. It usually is, but she was out that particular day for one reason or another. So there was a woman filling in on behalf of Tammy Mack. And she really seemed to have a bias, and she didn't seem to do a good job of being neutral. And really, considering that on the panel, it seemed like pretty much it was 4 against 1. Cynthia G alone on her own. But Cynthia G handled herself as per usual. And I'm thinking, do they purposely set it up that way to be, having Cynthia G alone on her own? Or does it just end up happening that way? And granted, I did see that Fox Soul panel with Cynthia G and Dr. Umar, and then there was some controversy about the other black woman on there not being born a black woman, but rather transitioning to a black woman. And that in itself can be problematic, unfortunately, because they are putting essentially a transgendered black woman in the place of a, biologically born cis black woman, and implying that she can represent a biologically born black woman who has, was born into being a female, like a female through birth, not through transition, right? A female both in gender and in sex. And this is important to bring up because if this was a Fox Soul panel about transgendered black women, I'm pretty sure that if they were to bring on a biologically born women and use them to speak on behalf of black women, or just women in general, whatever, black women, right? If they were to do that, then I'm pretty sure that the black trans community, our black female trans community, would have an issue with that. Because they don't feel like you can represent them in their experience, right? And just like on the flip side, biologically born black women don't feel that trans women can truly represent them in their lived experiences. But let me get back to the topic, though. All right. So personally, my thing is, based on this question being asked, should black women stop dating black men? I would say black women perhaps should stop dating exclusively black men and perhaps open their options up to just men in general. And just, really start exploring their options beyond black men. They don't have to exclude black men if they truly don't want to. But I will say that proclaiming to the world on a mountaintop that you are, as a black woman, that you are black man only, I really don't think that it increases your dating marketplace value. I really don't think so. Um, as well, I really don't think it endears you to the black male collective. And really, honestly, I feel like it decreases a black woman's marketplace dating value, or either at best just keeps it the same within the black community, right? I really don't think that black women, like Taraji P. Henson, she been up there on BET 2 times, proclaiming the black kings and all that. And where's she at? What's she doing? Where her black king at? Where her wedding ring at? Doing all that black king worship and still ain't got a man. And then on the panel, there were like two older black women. One was like a brown skin color. She had like a brown skin. And she may have probably had like a richer skin tone of brown, but the lighting may have been throwing it off, maybe. And then there was like a lighter skinned older black woman on the panel too. And then, they were like, black men are fine, black men got swag. And that's really interesting that when people, particularly other black women, pose the question, what's the benefit of dating black men? That's usually what comes up. Something that's kind of like superficial. Notice that. It's not anything ever like truly deep or profound. Usually it's either like trauma bonding, fine, got swag, they black, so I want black babies. Nothing like, oh, black men are, excellent providers, excellent protectors. Oh, they are just the best fathers you could ever have. Black men are very supportive. I will give one thing at least and say that, black men and black women, have culture in common. And I think having culture in common, that can help when it comes to, dating, marriage, starting a family, things like that. But, a lot of black women, run with that and go very deep with it. And it ends up like trauma bonding. And a lot of black women, try to trauma bond with black men on a romantic level. And black men aren't interested in trauma bonding on a romantic level. Black men, when it comes to trauma bonding, it really ends up being about the black man's plight in America or whatever country the black man is in. I'm in America, so that's the point of view I'm coming from. But essentially, it just ends up being black men are interested in trauma bonding about like the black man's plight, like for example, like police brutality, right, or perhaps labor force discrimination, right, and trauma bonding to get black women to advocate and support them, right. And that's as far as it goes. And that trauma bonding doesn't happen with non-black women. Non-black women they ain't really going for that. Non-black women can't relate. Even the non-black women who do come from like oppressed or marginalized communities, they end up doing that trauma bonding. If it happens, they're doing it with their men, not with black men. The black man's plight, at least in America, is way too much weight for a non-black woman to carry. She does not want to be burdened with all that baggage. Like, really think about it. Think about how much baggage the black man comes with, at least in America. But black women that be black women, black women be jumping up, saying, give me your tired, give me your weary, give me your destitute black king, come on through. Like she the Statue of Liberty or something, talking about, just taking in the black king. And then on the panel, something came up to the effect of like the black woman who was like the older black woman who's brown skin saying something like, black men have it tougher in society than black women, right? And saying like she has seen it, firsthand when it comes to the, corporate America, right? And the thing is, like, people always forget that black women do have to deal with racism and sexism, and in some cases, the colorism within the black community. Let's not forget that too. But no one's jumping up and saying, well, maybe the black woman may have a bad attitude, or a negative disposition. But, the black woman has been through so much in America. The black woman, she experiences the racism, the sexism, the colorism. People aren't making excuses like that for black women. That's the thing. It seems like somehow, some way, we can scrape up an excuse to excuse black men for whatever they do. We can just blame it on black women, blame it on white men, or, the system. But when it comes to black women, all those excuses that apply to black men and are used to excuse black men, folks don't seem to want to apply those excuses to black women for some reason. And if black men truly are being oppressed, marginalized, discriminated against, well, shouldn't black men do something about that? I mean, what are you expecting black women to do? They expecting black women to come through and advocate on the behalf of black men, as if black men are children who cannot advocate for themselves. And as if black men have a great track record of advocating for black women. Unfortunately, the black man's plight has been prioritized time and time again, way more than black women's plight has been prioritized. In fact, people don't even, I really think people, at least in the black community, or people in the black community don't even think that black women really truly have a plight. And if they do, they feel like it's self-inflicted. And I really think that's at least part of the reason why black men and black women want to keep black women on the team, quote unquote, on the black king team. Because they know, like, if black women were to, in significant numbers, date out, then that would leave sort of like, I don't know, it would end up moving black women's advocacy. Like, if black women were to date out in large numbers, like in a significant amount, then I think that the byproduct of that would be black women distancing themselves from the black man's plight. Because that's what it really circles back to. The black man's plight is always framed as the black community's plight. When you really think about it for a second. You notice that when there are issues in the black community, black men's issues technically don't exist. They exist, but they don't. And what I mean by that is, like, black men's issues are often framed as black community issues. So, since it affects black men, it affects the black community. Right? But it doesn't work like that for Black women's issues, unfortunately. When it affects primarily Black women, it's just seen as a quote unquote Black woman's issue. When it affects primarily Black men, all of a sudden it's just like, you know, all hands on deck. This isn't a Class A emergency. The whole community is going to be affected. Oh, don't you have black sons? You could have a black son. Even if you don't, you could have an imaginary black son someday. That's why you got Black women saying, that could be my son. That could be my brother. That could be my daddy. Girl, you know I got a baby daddy. That could be my husband if I had one. If one of these black kings ever proposed to me, that could have been my husband. Girl, my Uber driver black. My Uber driver a black king, girl. And I can't forget about my black king Amazon Prime delivery guy. Girl, we gotta do something about this. But on the flip side, you don't really hear Black men singing a song like that, quote unquote. You don't really hear that, right? And if they do, it really is directed at their particular Black female relative. But I'll say when it comes to the panel, I did like Cynthia G's input. And I think it just ultimately, in this situation with Black women and dating options, and particularly for Black women who are, Black men only, are at least very Black male leaning. The eligible Black male supply is low, and Black women's demand for the eligible Black man is high. Because of that, and because of that situation, Black women have to adjust a lot more to and for Black men versus the other way around, right? It's supply and demand, right? It's just simple economics, like Econ 101. And I think that's ultimately why Black women are in this situation. And of course, there's a lot that goes into why Black women, feel the way that they do when it comes to dating and mating choices and preferences and things like that. Unfortunately, that's just a lot to go into in this particular video. So I definitely am not going to do that, and not going to make this video longer than it needs to be. So with that being said, I'm going to bring this video to a close. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comment section below. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.